Moving on, I want to talk about having multiple TypeScript files. So let's make a second file. I have an index.ts. I'll just make it in the same directory, and I'll call this one, how about farmstand.ts? We're a grocery store, an online grocery store, sure. And instead of farmstand.ts, I'll just make something really quick. Let's do a interface for product, and a product has to have a price that's a number, and a name that's a string, and then a quantity that's a number. Let's just start with that. And then let's write an arrow function for a good reason. It will come back in a couple videos from now. It will make sense, but any function will work. But let's go with print product equals an arrow function that accepts a product of type product from our interface. And it returns void. It's just going to print. So console.log. And let's just do a string template literal that has the product name, and then a dash, and then product.price. Sure. And maybe a $sign in front so that when this is replaced, we still have, the price with a $sign. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. We've got a function in here now. And what I want to show is that now that we have two files, I don't have to do, tsc farmstand.ts followed by tsc index.ts if I want to compile both of those files. I mean, that does work. I now should have farmstand.js, as you can see right there, and index.js. So that works. But another option is to just use tsc on its own. And as long as these files are located in this folder somewhere, and they are, as you can see, they're with that tsconfig.json. We can change the settings shortly so that TypeScript will look in a particular location or ignore particular files. But for now, it's just going to compile any .ts files that it comes across. So let's make a change here to farmstand.ts so that we have proof that it's working. Why don't we change our function name to print product summary, just so that we can tell in our JavaScript file that it worked. Now I'm going to run tsc. I'm not going to say which file, just tsc. And let's take a look at our farmstand.js. It says print product summary. So it compiled our farmstand file, and we don't have proof, but it did compile index.js as well. So it's going to look at all of those files, in this case, just two TypeScript files. And same goes for the watch mode, tsc-w. If I make a change to my index file, not the JS file, but the TypeScript file, let's say that we get a second chicken going. All right, so what's a good name for a second chicken? Norma, how about Juniper? Sure. And Juniper, fine. She can be a silky. She's slightly more productive. Her name is Juniper, and she's 1 year old. 1 year old. 1 year old. And of course, it recompiled. It told me that right there. But if I look at index.js, we see the change in there. Let's change something in farmstand. Let's go back to just print product and save. It recompiled. Let's look at farmstand.js, and there it is. It says print product. Okay, so that's all I want to show in this video. TypeScript is going to look for all the .ts files it can find by default. We could tell it to ignore some. We can tell it to look in one place, but we don't know that yet, or we haven't seen how to do that. So by default, it's just going to compile any .ts files if I use the generic tsc command. But if I had said tsc farmstand.ts, it will only compile that file.